guys? Welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam. As always, I'm joined by Baker, but we need some help. So, Jonny, welcome back to the pod.
Hello. I'm very well. Yes, thank you for having me back on. You both messaged me in a panic this morning saying help, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I'm here to tell you what to do, supposedly. Don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with my own team, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm a free hit down. What was it? Adam's a wild card down, and Baker said he doesn't know what he's doing. So
I don't know what I'm doing.
Here we are. Welcome, everyone.
We've just obviously been watching the Europa League. So Forest have gone through on penalties. Palace are through.
That's a big one.
That is a big one because that locks.
It's
them
big
out
for the
at 31,
fixtures.
right?
Forest going through is big for Spurs fans. You were talking about extra minutes, tired legs.
Minutes.
Yeah, more games as well. But yes, yeah. So Palace through means we confirmed. Blank game week 31 is confirmed. Finally, a day before the deadline. But we also thought it might have gone into 32, which would have been double game week 32, which would have meant probably back-to-back doubles for either City or Palace. And that can't happen now because Palace are in the quarterfinals of the Conference League.
Yeah.
So, yeah, City, Palace probably going to go later, maybe 36. I think 36 might even get two doubles if Villa go through.
Yeah.
They're still beating Lille. Is it Lille they're playing?
It's 0-0 at the moment, but yeah,
I think they won the first leg. So I'm going straight in with fixture permutations. It's my favourite thing.
Mate.
If that's all right.
This is what we went for.
If City Palace is now more likely to go in 36 than it was because we've lost some of the midweeks that were free.
Yeah.
And if Villa go through, that means that they were quite happy to go through anyway, but we're slightly more likely to get that forced Villa-Liverpool 37-36 one, which is Liverpool make the FA Cup final, Villa make the Europa League final. The complication we had with like Spurs nearly had it last year.
Okay.
Where Spurs, I needed Spurs to make the Europa League final, which they did, and Villa to make the FA Cup final, which they didn't. And it means that 37 gets blocked, like from each side. So we could get two doubles in 36 and a blank in 37 even. That's probably
quite likely now to then get one double at least in 36.
Yeah, because City Palace is pretty likely to go there. It might go somewhere else, but I don't see how it goes like 35, 36, 37. Triple captain holders can celebrate. They can play it on Mark Gahey or Donnarumma or whoever's going to play 2 games.
Yeah,
etc.
You're moving around. You're moving around, Jonny.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. My camera's doing that thing.
I forgot
where
we could do this game where, see, you can't all see it on. They're watching this, but we can. When you move your hand around and stuff, it can move your.
Yeah,
this is a Mac, is it? This is Mac action.
This is just. I bought this as this is a webcam. Just thinking, why is it doing that?
This is brilliant.
It was meant to just be like, oh, it's better than my Mac camera. But it's got all these AI features that I don't understand how they work or turn off. So I might be zooming in and out with my hands doing that. Oh no, I've turned it on now. Turn it off.
That's
It wasn't live last time.
Just thinking about it for those that are looking at people for this week. The other thing for Palace is obviously that means that their home game against Newcastle is in 32. Which will be on the Sunday now.
Yes.
Sunday already. Because you'll have the Thursday will be the Europa quarter-final.
Yeah,
and
whoever they're playing.
Again, Palace are safe. Like, they're not going to go down.
Yeah.
So, again, for Glasner, like, he's going to target that quarter-final so heavily, which is then a benefit if you were going Newcastle this week. Would that get reflected, do you think? Do you think it's so in the lovely world of Solio and all those worlds, do you think that there would be a little tick up for any Newcastle guys against Palace in 32?
We probably won't see it anytime soon, but we might as we get a bit closer to the deadline because it's tied into the markets. So like no one's really betting on Newcastle Palace now.
Yeah.
And also even if they are, like the bookies limits will be low enough that it's not like They're not taking big positions because there's an international break coming up. Like we don't know if Bruno Guimaraes is going to be fully fit. We don't know, who's going to be fit for Palace. So I think like there's too much uncertainty on it directly now. But we might get closer and see that Newcastle are heavier favourites than they might have been.
Yeah.
Had they not. But I don't think it's going to move it hugely.
Yeah.
We'll see. But we are approaching, on the beach. Has anyone said it yet?
Yeah. No,
We did that.
getting there.
We did that.
Oh, you've done it already. Nice.
One of the things I was thinking about with Newcastle is because they're your team as well. Is like I was going to ask you the question.
My team, yes.
How far on the beach or close to the beach are they now?
Newcastle. They're
Yeah.
pushing for Europe.
Think so?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're out of all the cups, and
Can they
they're
get
still.
there?
They're like 9th, aren't they?
There's so few points between like 7th and 11th. It's like 5 points.
Yeah, and
That's
even like
Yeah.
even
God, they
even a
really can, can't they? It's only 3 points between them and Brentford.
even a Europa or a Conference League would be like a big win. And I think England are like likely to get that 5th Champions League
Yeah.
spot again. Based on the way they're going, even though a lot of them bombed out in Champions League this week.
All the way down to
so
Palace, to be fair. Like I mentioned about Palace, but again, they're only 6 points off Brentford.
yeah, I suppose they're probably. I mean, their best way back into Europe is to win the Conference League,
Yeah.
presumably. But yeah, Newcastle's a bit tricky because the two teams ahead of us, Everton and Brentford, also have nothing but the Premier League to focus on. So it's probably going to be a battle with those guys for 7th, 8th. So yeah, that's going to be the main focus for Newcastle. Whereas playing once a week, I think someone said that this might be a fact I'm making up, which means it's not a fact. But
This is the show for that, mate.
Newcastle
This is the show
have
for that
played
shit.
like more games this season than anyone else so far because they've had to play every midweek because they made England is the team with 2 cups, so they got the League Cup and the FA Cup. They've only just gone out of the FA Cup, so they've only missed one round of that, and they made the League Cup semi-finals, and they had to play the Champions League playoff round. So we've had like no midweeks off. They've also had what was it? Bournemouth, then Villa, then City in the FA Cup. So that was like no, we didn't have like a Bromley or a Wickham or something like that.
Someone that Arsenal played.
Mansfield, this one. So like, you do rotate. We didn't play a full strength team against Villa, and Villa didn't play a full strength team either. But it's not like, oh yeah, we can properly just send the kids out, send the B team out in any game. So they've been a bit tired. That's why they're kind of short of legs, I think. So I think a break will be good for us. Obviously, we've got a big game Sunday against Sunderland. So that's one they really want to win, that they'll be up for, regardless of that matters, even if it doesn't matter for points. And then a run in of trying to get Europe. So I do think the guys who are like you guys who might have been prone to rotation if the games weren't as important or they had midweek stuff Lewis Hall's been churning out a lot of 90s. But part of that was like Botman was injured. Livermento's been out. Like there wasn't really any other options. So I still think he'll keep playing those games because he's so good. Like we need him.
Yeah.
And I think Gordon has had to like rotate around a little bit, but probably just is the best number 9 that they have. So he probably will just keep playing number 9. Those kind of guys. I think like there's reason to be bullish on their minutes. Yeah. Even though like there's now 3 strikers on the bench when Gordon starts, and 120 million of them doesn't come on, and Willasula 5 million does come on because he's playing better than the other 2 at the minute.
Yeah, and for those looking at potentially Bowen as well, I suppose is that Palace's second leg is right before West Ham. So it's a bonus for West Ham in 33 too.
Yeah, so Palace going through also means that because West Ham Palace could move to the Sunday, I think, because that's the Monday night game in 33. That's the one that makes it a little bit complicated with double game week 33. It still fits, but they did it last year. They picked Forest Spurs, I think, for the Monday night game to try and be clever with like moving the games around. So they picked West Ham Palace to try and kick the Palace game or the West Ham game out. But that should stay there now, I think. Bit fiddly, but yeah, that'll be a Monday night game. So I guess they'll play Thursday, then Monday, and then Palace. But then Palace will either have a midweek off or they'll be playing Liverpool if Liverpool go through. Then they go back to semi-finals if they're in it. But yeah,
So
fixture congestion for a lot of teams, and once a week, things to play for in the Premier League for some teams.
the question everyone wants to know, because you can just tell us the right answer to this, Johnny, is then
Can I?
what's the right chip strategy for everybody to do right now?
Well, you know what the answer is. It depends, isn't it? That's always the answer. What
Team
are you
dependent.
thinking?
I don't know.
I mean, people have got different amounts of chips left as well, or different
Yeah.
combos. But some people have got all four.
I 100% and I deliberately undervalue chip strategy. I like to undervalue it. I like to place as little value as I can into it. And the reason why I try to do that is because it then, I think one of the things is that I genuinely feel is a weakness that happens quite often is that people nail themselves to a mast really, really quickly on chip strategy and aren't prepared to change it and want to tell everyone about it. This is the way I'm going to go. And you're like, that's not really how things work. It's the smallest thing, an injury, a suspension, or something like can change everything for your team, and therefore is I just think you have to be able to keep yourself, especially when there's just short amount of game weeks left. We are now moving into a world of we've got 8 game weeks left. Then is realistically, like wherever you play it now, if it works out better for your team, you can make that work. Like the value will not be monstrous, I would imagine at times. Some of these things.
It's kind of, it feels especially true in this season and last season because the doubles are, there's fewer of them and they're not as big.
Oh, here we go, I'm going to get 15 doublers out like we used to and do all of that sort of stuff. So therefore is like just trying to potentially remain agile. But the other problem thing is all the time that you're wedding yourself to something where you don't know the fixtures, then that also doesn't make a huge amount of sense. So you should immediately take down your certainty based on the lack of certainty that you have. And when you, for example, we were saying about how many different permutations were we down to? I mean, we must be less now.
I just simmed them now. I've got 3,600. It gone up a bit because I hadn't accounted for something. So
we've
back down to
still
where it
got
was.
3,600 different permutations of how this season plays out, which therefore means to an extent, like it's like how much can we play something? So I look at that and think to myself, that's definitely a plus on Newcastle. So I'm looking at it, and if I'm 50 versus 60-40 type stuff on or I was on a Newcastle side of it, then I should just bump myself slightly more towards that way. Because we know now that they're fixture in 32 slightly better. We know now that we already knew that the chances are they were very likely for a double. So if you think that there's a strong chance that you either are not going to wildcard in 32 and you really would like the opportunity to bench boost in 33, then Newcastle sounds fantastic.
I think it's worth seeing where you are in terms of your rank, I know we talk about targets and stuff like that. It's very difficult to kind of say I've got a target of X because, as you said, like loads of different variable things can happen. But if you do pin yourself to the mast, right, which I'm almost planning to do, I'll just put it out there. I feel like if that decision goes right at this point, then it will be much better for my team. And the downside of doing it is like it's completely negligible, really, for me. So if you're sitting at 1 million plus, like who gives a shit at this point? Like who cares? If your
listeners, your devout listeners,
but what I'm saying, of course. But what I'm saying is everyone has to have their own reasoning for doing something, right? And so it like a million overall rank, like difference between 1 million and 1.5 million and 2 million, like everyone's forgotten about it anyway. Like it doesn't matter. If you're in a much higher position and you've got I don't know, an innate desire to maintain a consistent rank that you've had all this time. There are a number of people that are very proud of all of that stuff. If you're going for a really, really high rank, then maybe you do want to sit and wait because others will maybe fumble around you. But I think for those 1 million plus, I think if you can look at what you believe is to be the most likely and lean your moves towards that more heavily, and look, it may still go wrong, but if you do that then and it comes off, then I think that's going to be much more beneficial for you.
I think for someone in my position or your position as well, who's played either a wild card or a free hit and has the other one left, then it's a bit easier to kind of stick that other flag in the ground later because you've only really got one pivot point that you're working around. So if you're saying I'm going to free hit this week and I'm just going to say, oh, I don't care about that week because I've got it's all the doublers are in it and I've only got 2 or 3 people who might double. So I'm going to put it in 33 and I'm going to play through and just focus as if it's not there. Then your strategy is not changing hugely. You don't have to suddenly swing this way or that, or go, oh, I need to bring this other pivot forward to play the bench boost and this, that, and the other. You've also, you got bench boost and not triple captain. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you've only got one other chip as well to kind of like boost around that. And mine, I've got only the wild card. So actually the 33 to 34 is going to be so tricky that I basically need to pencil in 34 unless it ends up being like a really flat, like we get one double or something, and then I can maybe play it in 32. Or if we had that Palace City game going into 32, I might have had to play it there and use my transfers in 34. So I can kind of just put this 34 in and go, I can make that assumption until we get the fixtures because it's so likely to be true. It's likely for so many of these permutations that I'm actually not really losing out by aiming at that. And then it's just, okay, I'm not committing to if the bench boost is before or after and whether the triple cap is before or after or which weeks those are in because I've got a target for those. Like 33 is probably better for my bench boost, but not necessarily. And triple captain, I just hoped that there was another double game week, and there probably is, so I can play it in either. But I don't have to do too much different to just say I can sort of lock one of my pivots in and choose the boosts once I know exactly where the doubles are. That doesn't change my 28 to 31 game week thing that much. The same with you. So if you say free hits this week, very likely, then you know who is definitely staying in 34, or you know who's very likely to double in 33. So you go, okay, I've got to buy more Newcastle or Brighton or Arsenal or whatever. Or I've got to buy more Spurs. They've got guaranteed 34 fixture. And, so you're just looking at who's good 31, 32, 34, or 31, 32, 33 and play through. And you kind of like go, okay, that's what I really need is who's got the good fixtures now, plus the one I'm not free hitting in. It's kind of okay to. Whereas if you're like, do I wildcard 32 and then free hit 34, or do I free hit 33 and wildcard 35? That's a lot harder to kind of hedge across. You can do it. Like there's still teams who do well at that, and if you bank a lot of transfers, you can do it. But it's you have to be more unrestricted. Whereas saying my free hits this week doesn't restrict you a huge amount, I don't think.
I wish I kind of had those transfers because obviously, I had 5, right? And I've used 6 in 2 weeks. And now I'm in a position where I'm like, oh, crap. Actually, now I need to either build up or just commit to free hit. And if I commit to free hit, I can do things in 31, 32, 33 as I need to. But if I feel like if I wasn't going to free hit, I feel like I'd need to be better for bench boost in another week now if 33 was going to be the week that I was going to do it, which I'm not ready for. It doesn't help, obviously. I had initially planned, and this is what you'll say, Becky, so I'd initially planned to roll this week. Obviously, I'm not going to now because Caliber's out for 6 weeks. So that kind of stuff can happen and derail certain things as well. But I think I can, for me personally as well, I think I can pivot, I can move away from that relatively easily, and it's probably as simple as just bringing in a Newcastle defender and then just letting them sit for the rest of time. But I think that's kind of where I am.
Which free hit week are you looking at, by the way? I was just checking.
34. 34.
34. Okay. Is there a reason that over 33?
Primarily because I'm going to have a lot of players from 34 that don't play, by the looks of it, at the moment.
How many have you got that do play?
That's a great question.
And next question is, or clarification is, are you putting City as a 34 team or a 33 team?
Depends. We'll find out.
Well, yeah, as it sits now, it's a 33 team in my mind.
They are favourites.
But even if they win, we still don't know that they're a 33 team.
Yeah,
double.
They're not forced into 33, like Liverpool Palace would be.
They can still just not be a double.
I think they're probably more likely to bring it forward, but yeah, there's no guarantee. There's no like forced stuff. We would we'd know before Game Week 32, but we don't know this week.
Yeah.
So
because this is what I'm saying. All of these things like that, they're unlikely. All of these things happen, but if Liverpool beat City, then that changes a lot of things based on, is there's not a lot of people that have got, say, for example, double Liverpool attack and Haaland. So actually, that result of that game does change stuff. If you haven't got a huge amount of transfers in
you're
hand,
kind of on one side of it usually.
you are, yeah. So Adam, for example, who's got Haaland and Semenyo, like he's and hasn't got Liverpool attack, he's very much on that side of it. So if Liverpool win, does that immediately just put bench boost 33 out of the equation? And that immediately for me sounds like it would change it to you'd free hit 33.
Have we got Adam's team to bring up? Is this what's the agenda? We just started. What are we doing? Chatting.
Well, I think we're trying to work through like people's different strategies about what they would do, but then I think we do have to look at who's the pick this week and why.
Yeah, I guess so. I think you said earlier about taking the kind of cognitive load out of the strategy and just picking one that's good and then play it well. So I think for people in that boat, like Wildcard 32 is just still good. It's not got any worse.
Yeah.
There are scenarios where it's not as good, and alternative strategies run it very close, especially for certain teams.
Yep.
But I still can't really find a way where it's bad, or it's like, it's an error to have played it. So yeah, I think if you are thinking like, I still wouldn't press the button on Friday, tomorrow, like after the deadline. I still think like that's worth waiting because stuff happens and you're like, oh, I've sort of lucked into this or that or whatever. But I think anyone who's like making a move thinking, this kind of pencils in or even pens in wildcard 32 when I probably want to do that, but I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think like if you are already edging towards wildcard 32 and you want to buy a Fulham player to commit to it, then like that's not a blunder in any way. Yeah. Because I don't really see what happens to make it a really bad move.
Yeah.
So I think, anyone who's looking at the kind of the strategy everyone's looked at before, the reason it's partly so good is because you put the wild card at the start of knowing everything. So you don't have to think about any of the weeks we don't know about yet until you play a wild card. And then you have to do it all at once rather than, I can split it in half and I've got some double game week 33 guys already, but I don't need to worry about 36. And you do have to think, okay, if Villa are through and Liverpool have won, like Liverpool might win and then draw, I don't know, Port Vale at home in the semi-finals. And then you go, well, Liverpool are probably making the final. So all you need is Villa to win that quarterfinal, and then you've probably got that Villa double game at 36, very likely. So we might get more info on that, but that might be still unclear. So that's the only bit you're kind of guessing is that 36, 37 period. Yeah. But you know everything else pretty much. So you don't have to go, my team in 32 doesn't matter at all. So if I'm, I can get these Fulham guys. I can get anyone against Burnley, whoever I want.
I do think there's
that fits still.
If you have still got wild cards, like is you can take some gambles even this week with the fact of if you need to, you just get out with wild card in 32, and like you say, it's not a terrible thing to do. I think there's definitely sort of almost more like a narrative on Twitter now of like, oh god, are you gonna wildcard in 32? It's like the sheep move and stuff like that. But you're
It's
like,
fine.
it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I think there is also a position where, one of the things is that we had ourselves wedded to earlier was that well, we're only going to potentially get 33 as a double. So it's a double. I must bench boost. It's a double. I must bench boost. And you're like, well, actually, that's not necessarily the case, because if 36 is also a double, well, that works as well.
Yeah.
And even if you did double in the bench boost, bench boost in a double game week, you're not going to have 15 doublers. You're still
No.
going to have
Yeah.
4 single game weekers on your bench.
You probably, if you go wildcard 32, bench boost 33, you probably got 2 doubling keepers.
Keepers. It's
Yeah,
always that, isn't it?
which does, I think that was last season, because we only had 2 doubles in the
But-
double that year. So it was like, but we had the double game before that, so people play bench boost either when Newcastle Palace doubled and you had Pope and Henderson, or you doubled in 33 and you had Raya and Henderson, or Edison and Henderson, or whatever it was. So you got
What
the
you
juice
really
out
want,
of having like an eighth. You had an eighth attacker, which people
Yeah.
don't always have. You've got Mark Guiu or whoever. You get a double game week keeper, and you get 2 defenders who got good fixtures. And
Yeah,
actually, that's even easier to do this year because
because of DEFCON.
a bad team, bad defender, bad fixture can still be okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah,
need to
yeah.
go, oh, I need to hit Leeds at home to Burnley. You go, well, actually, Sunderland away to Villa is actually still all right.
Yeah.
So
It's a weird
it's the double
world, isn't it?
keepers where you get the extra 3 or 4 points.
What you used to kind of hope when you would do a bench boost in a double game week is you'd have normally one attacker on the bench that you thought they might spike, they might brace, they might do that stuff. Whereas actually what you really want now is you're not asked if all your attackers are single game week, because what you really want is 5 double game week defenders, because you've got 10 chances of DEFCON. um,
Yeah.
and if you can get your extra midfielder, for example, in it is also got a chance of double DEFCON, and Elliot Anderson, for example, then you just got such a solid base in that
It's
week.
so sickening, isn't it? That the more you think about it,
I think-
I was thinking about this from a like, who do you want to pick, in terms of and trying to almost beat the DEFCON guys. Where in the past, where you would
Good luck.
Yeah, it is that though, because in the past, what you do is you try and get these players that would spike, and if they didn't spike, it didn't matter because everyone ended up on 2. Whereas it feels like you just -2 to whoever every single time this year, and it's just a constant battle. And just bringing it up there about double game weeks, it just makes me feel sick about it. To be honest, though, it's just horrible. Can you
This
imagine?
guy's
Can
played
you
his
imagine
wild
that?
card early.
You're picking like. You pick like Cherky, Tav, and you do all these like fun picks that can get 13 points. And then you've got Elliot Anderson and I mean, obviously you'll have Bruno Fernandes and whoever else in that vein that just picks up these extra 2 points.
Declan
They
Rice,
just get
because it's a double
Declan
game
Rice.
week.
Yeah, and he obviously gets a couple of clean sheet points as well, which is just you kind of expected it, but it's a pain. And instead of fighting against people who have got like 10 points across 2 games, they've got 22, 20. That's big. You need like 2 goals to make it up.
Yeah.
God,
It's
man,
the game.
that sucks.
I guess some of the DEFCON heavy players won't double. So like Anderson and Bruno can't double. So that's a bit more helpful for some people.
Yes.
Whereas, yeah, I guess Caicedo is going to double. Do we want him back?
Ghana.
You can't trust those minutes.
Is Ghana going to double? It's not going to double.
Ghana could. I think we think that it would probably stay in 34, but yeah, it could. Yeah, because if West Ham make it, it's West Ham Everton is the 34 fixture.
Yeah.
So maybe, but not super likely. Yeah, so I think I don't know if anyone did it or wanted to do it, but bench boost 30 last week. Like, I think we ended up with a few issues. So a lot of people had like a Munoz or a Joachim Anderson, who probably was going to play, but people were a bit scared about him. Or I think my brother was playing it, and he had Allison in goal as part of his like bench boost. He was looking at bench boost 30, and he was like, "Oh, probably can't play it now because Allison should play, but might not. I'll save it." But if you played it and got it out of the way, I don't think you're in a big loss either. Like, actually,
No.
you could have even the massive double game week one. Like, you can go and free hit it. You can go and triple captain it. You can go and probably got a decent bench boost out earlier.
Yeah.
The biggest one is if we do get that fourth fixture moving in. So if Bournemouth, Leeds, or West Ham, Everton also comes in to 34, I think that's when you go, okay, like I've now got a double game week guy on my bench who's not a keeper because I can get Bowen and João Pedro and Haaland or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
It's that fine balance, isn't it? But if it becomes so good, then again, you're like, why am I fighting wildcard 32, bench boost 33, free at 34? Probably I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And if, but yeah, I think it's important. Like, we had this question first, like before you do team selection, but it's important to understand, like, everyone will have to work through their own stuff, like, and where they won't. So you've got, as I said, no free hit. So you've got to be thinking about how's that going to sit for me? Who are the type of guys that you want? Adam's got no wild card, so he's got to try and think through. Okay, these are guys that, like I say, it's only 8 weeks. So everyone you bring in now, you're really looking to bring every single person you bring in. You're almost thinking mostly, I probably won't want to move those out.
Yeah.
It could be somebody else I need to move out instead of them.
There's only 7 weeks after this one.
Yeah.
Quick running.
Mine will, it's the more fragile I make my team, then the more likely it is I'm blocking myself almost into I must do that wild card in 32.
Yeah.
Mr. Mo Salah got injured, which
people's teams have become more fragile without them doing anything themselves. Yeah. Chalobah, Tarkowski, Salah. I'm sure there are
Do we know anything on Tarko?
The press conference will be tomorrow. I think there was nothing on it specifically, but he was very coy about it.
He's been,
but he's always
incredibly tough, and he always for getting info. This
he's. I'm sure there was some of the quotes where it was like, "Yeah, we have a timeline, but I'm not telling you." And it's like, well, all right, fine, rude. Rather than like, at least some of them are like, oh yeah, we've got scan later. We'll see.
He's done that.
He's like, I know, and I'm not telling you. And it's like, oh, fine, okay.
He said we got a couple of guys the week before, didn't he? But I'm not saying who they are.
It does happen quite often, but it's quite funny. So yeah, I mean, he's not like a brilliant pick this week, anyway. But yeah,
but
he's like
it saves a transfer potentially if you've got
a lot of people have Gabriel, Timber, Munoz, or something like that. So they do need all their defenders to play.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of Ballard. Ballard was the other one. Who we're still waiting to hear on. He went off half time last week or early last week. Who some people had.
And Mukiele
is not back yet. Yeah, he's still.
So there was some pictures. I think yesterday. I think it was Trey Hume did some pictures like that. But basically Ballard and Mukiele weren't in it. Okay. The other thing is that Koundé is injured, so therefore doesn't make the France squad, which would have opened up a position for Mukiele to have come in,
but
and he didn't get picked.
Interesting.
So that would suggest that probably Mukiele.
Finally, Alderete owners are laughing. It's about time.
just sits third on my bench every week.
Is he? Well, he's fit now.
It depends how many
he's got to play. He's got to play this week.
Yeah,
he will play this week.
So depends how many Newcastle score.
We'll see. We will see. Should we look at this week then?
Yeah. Go on.
Cool. That was 30 minutes. Before we do that, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's joined us in the chat. Shout out to all of you guys. I'm just looking at Pete, FPL team, says he played bench boost last week and got Goodmanson's -2.
There you go. Brilliant.
Just horrifically unlucky. Just a ref that didn't know he'd booked the player and just thought he'd book him again. Ridiculousness. It was quite funny. I had Calvert-Lewin. He missed a penalty, but he was on my bench, which was lovely to see.
He subbed on for Munoz for me, so I got him.
Fair enough.
Living the dream.
Never mind.
For everyone else, if you want to hit subscribe as well, you can see more of myself and Baker. You can click it. And obviously go check out Jonny over at Solio Analytics as well, where he does a wonderful weekly podcast with Praz. So shout out to you guys. Yeah, let's look at the games. Talking of Solio, your
What do
friend,
we want? Yes,
we want more
Robert.
goals in the games. But I think the markets have finally figured out that the Premier League's crap, and we just
don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, this isn't us. We're not doing anything here. Yeah, I mean, brilliant. Fulham, Newcastle. What would you want? Man United, even Villa. I don't know. Yeah, there's only 8 games as well, obviously, with the 2 blanks.
8 games.
Pretty close one. It's a bit meh.
I guess it's always going to be more meh when, like, we talk every week and we look for the games over 2, but the 2 teams that are normally over 2 is Arsenal and Man City, and they're not playing. So
or Liverpool.
Yeah. This looks immediately meh, but you've got there's probably only 4 teams or 5 teams probably that are ever, and it's normally Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, and then Man City and Arsenal. And what you've got here is Man City and Arsenal are not playing, and then Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man United are all away from home.
Yeah.
So I think that just straight away what that means is it's harder to project what the goals might be, but you would take some off. It also just makes captaincy really wide open, because obviously Haaland has been a mainstay for a lot of people. Those that have gone against Haaland have predominantly gone against him with recently Mo Salah, Hugo Ekitike, those guys, or they've gone against him with Bruno, or they've gone against him with Palmer a few weeks back. And again,
this is a good week to go against Haaland. I think we should.
It's a shame that now we've got Palace out, because if Palace,
there was a bit of jiggery pokery stuff in there.
Yeah. So if we didn't know that they were out of 31, then I would have fully expected Adam to have captain Haaland this week, in the hope that somehow it drops back in and you get a bugger all owned captaincy of Haaland.
Sadly not.
Now that's out the window.
You can do it anyway. Just do it for style points.
Yeah.
We all know what my team's going to look like. We all know. It's coming.
Yeah, we all know.
It's coming again.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, looking for teams over 2, I think is like, it helps them pop out, but they're actually quite rare. Like, it's not often that the teams are over 2, and like 1.8 is good still. This all comes into the projected points of the players, so it's not always like it's useful. Like, the brighter color, 42% clean sheet, like, looks nicer. But it's also relative. Like, if I've got lots of Fulham defenders and you've got lots of Brentford and Sunderland defenders, like, I've made as much of a gain as if in another week I had loads of Arsenal defenders and you had loads of, I don't know, Everton with an easier fixture. Like, it's the relative stuff as well. So I guess it's kind of how many can you get to? Like, can you get a third Fulham if you're dead ending? Can you get, most people have Bruno, probably will captain him, but maybe you can get double Newcastle defence along with Gordon and something like that. So you can kind of still attack a few little stacks and hope that that's the game that does end up 3-0 or something. Because one of them probably will. I remember, I think the first time I ever came on above average was Free Hit 29 week preview. The one with four games where the only team who got many points was Fulham away to Spurs, who no one had any of because they were the biggest underdog. And it was the flattest week ever. We got like 19 points. So I'm sure we'll do a bit better. But
our WhatsApp chat is still called Free Hit Heroes.
Oh, from that one, yeah.
That's true.
I think I bought the Burnley striker who I thought was on pens, and then they got a pen and he didn't take it. I was like, oh, brilliant. David Datro Fofana, that's the one. He got a goal later.
That was it.
But yeah. He was on loan from Chelsea. So I'm sure we'll still end up with some sort of hero. I guess like people might pick up a Raul and he goes off. And, I'm sure he's probably only playing 60, 70 minutes, but there's places like that you can go. Abraham played tonight, or playing tonight, so Watkins might be okay for Villa West Ham.
No one's going there, are they? No one's buying more Villa guys.
But there is a striker that I've been being told about. I've heard about. Who might be on pens with a good fixture. Does anyone know who it is?
Is it Anthony Gordon?
No, he's a midfielder. I know he plays up
Wow.
front, but
He'll play up front.
no, game below that.
Oh,
Dom Solanke.
Tom Solanke.
Hang on. Richarlison.
Richarlison.
He's a forward. You always wanted him.
Yeah.
Make the case, please. Sell me on Richarlison. Why should I buy him?
Let me just frame this. So what happens is my phone goes on mute during the day most of the days. And so I look at it every now and again. And so I've looked on WhatsApp, nothing's there. I've gone to work, had a meeting, come outside. Next thing I know, I've got a Richarlison thumbnail that's already been made. It's already been made. Like, it just went in, discussed.
So good.
Can I have this? There was two options of the photo. Like, can we do this? Yes, perfect, made, done. Thanks, Alex.
Richarlison. Yeah.
I think it's important to provide context from we have two Tottenham fans, and I am all in. I am as all in as
Adam?
any man could ever be.
No.
And
No.
Adam
Oh, all
is
right.
not all in.
Do I get the deciding vote?
But-
then? I'm a Richarlison fan. I like him.
It also, there are parts to it that comes back that says Adam can't afford to be all in. He can't do it.
True.
He can't do it. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if this said projected goals 14.1. He wouldn't be in because he's stuffed. Like if he does, because
quite
he's
hard
wedded
to
to
sell
bench
Chalobah
boost
to
33.
Richarlison as
He
well.
doesn't. He wants to free hit in 34. It's
Right.
he's not got a wild card. It's of no use to him. So for him to do it is pointless. So therefore, is that whereas again, same around to me. I don't care. like in a quite frank terms, to an extent, I haven't made a decision yet about whether I'm even going to bother playing FPL again after this season. I'm fully concerned I'm fully concerned about Tottenham.
Yeah.
Like, if there's an opportunity that I can get Tottenham players into my team, I'm going to do it.
You could have captain
It does not need a lot. I haven't decided on captaincy.
It's open.
But I think it's important to say that like before I start championing him to an extent is understand it's like a guy. It's like getting in. It's like getting
I might
into a
retire.
fight with
This might be the last
with a
decision I
really
ever
ugly
make.
man. Do you know what I mean? You know that man you don't want to be fighting, and I'm that ugly man right now. Is I'm all in. Like it's
Right.
it's
Any
just too
small
big.
temptation I thought to maybe buy him has completely gone. So thank you for that.
I think it's important to give those points to it. But he was banned midweek. Solanke has a knock. Now, I do believe if Solanke is on the pitch, that he would take the penalty over Richarlison. We don't know that. We certainly don't know that. We know that actually when Solanke took the penalty last season in the Europa, that Maddison was supposed to take that penalty, but was too injured because he got fouled doing it, that he couldn't do it. So that's the only reason why Solanke got onto pens. So in a big moment, I fully know that Richarlison will be the one that puts his hand up, but I also know we still haven't had a penalty all season. Not in the league.
And like even if you had lots, like not particularly likely to get one in any given game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So,
yeah, it's worth value, like having that, extra route to points, but it's not like you said he'll take the penalty. I'm like, which one? Like, are they getting one?
On the pitch, has to do that stuff. Now, you've got lots of stuff which will give little bumps potentially to Richarlison or little knocks to Richarlison. The first thing is tomorrow is what's the deal with Dom Solanke? So he didn't even make the squad for this week. If he doesn't make it again, then he's on pens. But I think regardless, when they play, they dovetailed a fair bit in the Liverpool game. Like, as in one played the full 9, the other player. They didn't really play as a tandem 9s. They sort of switched it up a little bit of 1-2 dropping deep. But he'll be the main number 9 for us for as long as he's fit. It's relegation Richie.
He's got that factor as well.
Like relegation Richie, that's what he does. What people might not notice, if you look last week, his baseline was like 18. His baseline
the
was 18
bonus.
last week, not before the goal.
Yeah.
He ended up with 42 with 1 goal.
Oh, he did. He shot straight after 3 bonus, didn't he? Yeah.
42, 1 goal, because he works like an absolute madman. So 1 goal's 9 points.
There you go.
For him. For me, like I don't understand why
You are
anyone would
all
look
in.
at it.
Yeah. You don't.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
not
just
gonna
think
even gonna bother trying.
if I was a Leeds fan and I wanted a cheap striker, then I'd buy to Calvert-Lewin because I'm a Leeds fan. But
Yeah.
that's the only reason I'd buy Calvert-Lewin. I think if anybody else has the opportunity to buy one of those two, like if they would go Calvert-Lewin over Richarlison, there definitely are people that get into bed with their socks on. Like there's not even a shadow of a doubt
Oh,
there.
we're throwing the insults out now.
That it is though, isn't it? Like you wouldn't now go Calvert-Lewin who just missed a penalty last week and over Richarlison. You
What
wouldn't.
about what about Raul?
And it's 60-minute Raul. Like
This might be more penalty time than Richarlison gets.
it's just not enough.
Watkins.
And the other difference is so where
Picking others.
potentially
Danny
you have
Welbeck.
the Danny Welbeck.
Just
We
throwing
spoke about
names out.
Welbeck's minutes at the weekend. Like it just
Bowen, João Pedro.
I would just go another defender. Because I think that's the bigger argument. You know what you said about like if you went, say, for example, Hall and Chow,
Mm.
like load in on that. If that's what you really want to do,
Oh, so if
is
you're buying an 11th player, just like
yeah,
make it four at the back or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, they're probably
I
similar
think if it's that
points, yeah.
cheap, because a lot of people that are looking at, say, Richarlison are like, I'm taking Guiu to that person.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. But really, what you are, in my mind, what you're comparing there is, say, Chow versus Richarlison. And this is the season where defenders have hauled all day long. Anybody who's had, like we talked about it, this season's been defined by the Gaheys, the O'Reillys, the Virgils, the Senessis, the Hills. Like they have defined those seasons. You've still got some really good opportunities here. Loading up on double Fulham, Bassey is incredible on bonus. Like
Calvin Bassey, of course.
if they clean, nobody's getting near Bassey. Now we might not get Defcon. I think he
Yeah.
only got 4 Defcon last week, but it was about 10 clear of everybody else on the bonus. He's a fun option at I know
I
people like
knew
Tete and
this
do that
would
stuff.
boil down to Calvin Bassey versus Richarlison as the debate. I think everyone came here for that discussion, and I'm glad we've got to it finally.
This is where we knew it was always going to.
Yeah. I think the only thing about moving a defender out, so like if you have a Guiu, or some people bought like a Wolves striker and they've still got them, or like a Mane or something like that, then if you have an inkling that you might not wildcard 32, then you're usually selling like a pretty good. So like Jurriën Timber's useless this week, but if you're like, oh well, I might play 32, 33 afterwards, then selling Timber for Chow rather than Guiu or Mane or Armstrong for Richarlison, I think like you go, oh okay, well that makes more sense that I can keep the defender or the Palace defender that I had.
Yeah.
But if you're pretty locked in, then yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to go for.
Also the thing, you know, again, now the context to the wall of my stuff. I don't own Haaland, and I only have Gabriel. So if for example, as it stands now, if I didn't want a wild card in 32, there's a strong chance that the best thing option for me would be to free hit in 33 and then play through 32, 34, because my 32 team's good and my 34 team's good, and then wildcard in 35. So actually, for me, I'm then going to be like, well, actually, if I look at the fixtures here, like my strategy is going to be a lot decided by that Man City versus Liverpool game to know where I might want to go. But if I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, okay, if I think there's a chance I don't free hit, then getting Richarlison so that I have him for away Wolves in 34 is a good option.
Spurs are up there for 31 plus 32 plus 34 as a set.
Exactly.
Despite what people may say about Spurs. Not me, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
So I can do that sort of like semi-hedge type stuff where it's going to attack 31, but with a view that my probable 2 wildcard windows are either the 32 and just be like, okay, that's the way it's played out, or go for the 35 option and actually then I've got I want to make sure I've got a good enough team for 34.
Yeah, I think it's worth. There's probably a strategy point that maybe we did touch on earlier. If you're thinking about, okay, what does it look like if I don't wildcard 32 and I wildcard in 34, 35? Which scenarios is that in terms of, Liverpool or City winning? Or is it maybe, I don't know, Arsenal lose and they have their game in 34 instead of 33? And then work out whether you would free hit in 33 or 34 in that scenario. Because looking at whether you're going 31, 32, 33 for your picks that might run through, or 31, 32, 34 is quite important. Because, so let's say like a Porro versus a Chow might be, well, Chow's probably a little bit better this week, but similar enough this week if you're trying to leave it open. But if you're like, oh, okay, like their 32s are both okay, but Newcastle would probably double in 33 or have Arsenal away in 34 if they didn't, whereas Porro's not going to double in 33 and it's going to have Wolves. So actually they're both kind of similar for 31 and 32, but that's really dependent on, if I'm wildcarding 35 and I'm free hitting 34, I'd want Chow. But if I'm wildcarding 35 and free hitting 33, I'd want Porro. So actually, that's which one I pick this week is dependent on if I wildcard late, which of the blank or double do I free hit in?
Yes.
Is worth thinking about, because it might be that Malik Chow, say he's good this week, but anytime you would not want to not wildcard 32, you're actually never free hitting in 34. So you free hit 33. So he never makes sense, because anytime you play through, you need someone for 34.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of similar to what Adam's looking at, in that like it's the same question of like, who do I buy now? Give it, which one am I free hitting in? But without the wild card afterwards, like I kind of need to think about 35 afterwards too. So that's the like, if I'm nailing free hit 33 in or free hit 34 in, I need to make sure the guy I'm picking who's good this week has the opposite of whichever one I'm aiming at. I need to have my team steering at one of those rather than hedging too much, especially with fewer transfers, because you can't steer as much in 32. You can't go, okay, well, I'll kind of hedge and just get a good guy this week. Use 5 transfers in 32 to steer. So I mean, there's some good picks here, and some of them have got good 32 fixtures. Some of them might double, some of them might not. I think that's who you're targeting more so than like, do I have an inkling that Newcastle are going to beat Sunderland by more than Fulham are going to beat Burnley? Like, if I'm looking at Gordon versus Wilson, then unless I'm locked into 32, I should be more thinking about which do I need a game week 34 guy, or do I need a double game week 33 guy? Because they're going to be quite similar this week. But in the event you don't wildcard, that's huge. That's an extra fixture rather than an extra 5% chance of scoring. That's too important.
What's your immediate thoughts on captaincy, Adam?
I mean, you can probably work that out, no? Probably quite easy. Got to be.
I thought you're not buying Richarlison.
That's true. That's true. No, I would. No, I'm pretty locked in on Harry Wilson for captaincy this week. Home fixture against the worst team in the league. Seems reasonable. Effort. I mean, look, I expect Bruno to score points. Well, I've got him in my team. He's gonna hurt me. I expect that as well. He's going to be 130, 140, probably maybe higher. I expect that as well. But I think Harry Wilson is going to score more points than Bruno Fernandes. So I will captain the one that I'm going to think is going to score more points.
That's pretty straightforward, yeah. Hard to argue with that.
That's pretty much how it works. Pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
I think he's going to score more points, so I won't captain him.
Yeah.
How does it sit in the model world?
Our current projections is Bruno ahead, but Wilson second. He is like, I mean, it depends what you really like bring into your beliefs. Like Wilson has played a lot at 90s, but I think Kevin's still out. But then, I mean, I don't see how Wilson doesn't just play the full 90 minutes. Like they've got Chukwueze and Oscar Bob, and they'll probably play one of the two and then sub the other one on, and Wilson plays 90. So I don't think there's really much of a minutes question. Same with Bruno. So I guess it's like I think Bournemouth defense hasn't been that good recently. They've been a bit leaky, and I guess kept a clean sheet against Burnley, but didn't score. And Bruno's got
plenty of points, mate.
Bruno's got penalties as well, so that's just enough of a boost that he's ahead enough that most people who are looking at the projection models are gonna pick Bruno. Like sometimes it's like, oh, it's 0.1 apart, and it's like, oh, but it's Bruno versus Haaland, and they swap the other way or whatever. But I'd be surprised if I'm expecting near full blanket analytics Elite 64 to be all Bruno cap. Because he's projecting enough ahead, but not so far ahead that I'm like, if Adam says he wants to captain Wilson, it's not like I'm like, oh, he's like 20th. What are you doing? I think he's like, yeah, people will captain him, and he's good. I'll be on Bruno. I'm pretty sure. I think like it's too much for me to go. I don't have enough beliefs that Wilson's that much better. To disagree with the separate ones. But Gordon's up there too. And if you think he's probably number 9, Pens, he's another good one. Maybe like a few more question marks over him. I think he should play 9 and should play most of the minutes. Like he's just been the best striker, but they do have options. Like if he came off at 65, 70 minutes because he's not playing so well, and they're just going to bring Wissa on or Walter on, then that wouldn't be like wholly unsurprising. Whereas if you took Bruno Fernandes off at 70 minutes, you go, well, hang on, what? Like something's happened here. And he does take Pens. And then the only one who's taken other than him is Bruno, who's been injured, and Walter is barely on the pitch. And Gordon's taken them over Walter, like he's got them. So
yeah, it's Gordon.
I don't know if Wilson would take if Raul's off the pitch because Muniz on for half an hour.
I think it's Muniz. I think it's just the number 9.
I don't think he's taken one in his career actually, Muniz. So
Iwobi's also taken them.
Sorry?
Iwobi's also
Iwobi.
taken them.
What was it? Someone shared, I think it was like a pre-season game against Aberdeen where Wilson took one with everyone else on the pitch. But
interesting.
It's like, I mean,
you'd think he'd be good at them, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean?
Wilson. I mean,
yeah.
Should be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's taken
Wilson.
Yeah, it's like his career is like 11 pens, 8 scored, 3 missed.
Lukic has taken some as well, but he's like he doesn't play.
Oh yeah, I remember people were thinking about whether Lukic was on pens or not.
But he doesn't always play, so
yeah.
I
mean, he's never taken one. He's never taken one at club level since he hasn't taken one at club level since 2019.
Who's that? Lukic?
Harry Wilson.
Harry Wilson, yeah.
But he's taken them. No, that's not right. Just looking, he took them.
We're working through some of these.
I mean, he's not taken them off Raul, and Raul will play at least 60, 70 minutes. So you've got 20 minutes where he maybe has them, but I don't think anyone can say with any certainty that he does. So it's. I mean, if he takes one in the 80th minute, like that's not.
Yeah.
You've got a bit lucky with it, but it's also not. What? Why is Fabian Schär taking the penalty for Newcastle again?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at recent minutes, obviously he played 89 minutes versus Forest. He only played 72 versus us, but he got hurt. And then obviously he played 90 minutes against Sunderland. So, like I say, there's every reason to believe that he will play 90 minutes. He got taken off. If you look at the times where he got taken off, on 72 against Man City, but they were 3-0 down at that point.
Yeah.
Game was done. Again, other than that, 90, 88. Yeah, and then I think we had the injury again before that type stuff. It's more. It's the risk of minutes is purely a risk of do you get hurt,
which he can do.
Get hurt. Yeah. 3 or 4 times a season, he will get hurt during the game and have to come off. That does happen to him.
Who's the left back?
But
Lucas Perez or Quincy Hartman. Give him a boot.
They'll be all right. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine captaincy. I don't think there's many that I think I would take over. You look at it and say who would be up there to challenge Bruno. I think Wilson is up there. I think Gordon, if you fancy it, and I think that people will always maybe non-analytical managers, but will also there's a lot of people will be put off by the fact that Bruno plays first game. And if you could have somebody on the Sunday, you can have the Gordon on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Have Richarlison on a Sunday. People like it, don't they? They like to have it still to go. Historically, we see that every single game week. That will put some people off Bruno.
We need to. Andy Martin's in the chat. We can find out the weather for Friday night.
Oh, perfect.
I actually did check the weather the other day. It looked absolutely.
Do we need to know the likely weather between the deadline and the kickoff? Presumably, we'll know tomorrow afternoon.
I actually did check. It was like 8 miles an hour and about 7-8 degrees. Completely pointless weather. Yeah.
I'll throw Palmer in there as the outside other option. I don't know if anyone's looking at him.
He's the person that I'm closest to captaining if I don't captain Bruno.
Fair enough.
So I expect that I will sell Mo Salah. We'll find out tomorrow morning if I'll sell Mo Salah based on where he is. But if Salah is out, then I will sell Mo Salah for Cole Palmer.
And then even if he's probably only out for one game, back after the break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll be very comfortable with that. I'm considering I was just looking at the Newcastle things and thinking, maybe I should be thinking more about Gordon or not. But
that's one thing I was worried. I was obviously worried about how they were going to perform, generally speaking, without Bruno G, right? And they have, game state and whatever, but they did score 4 or 5 goals against Barcelona. Like they've still got attacking threat, a considerable amount of it. Gordon's been great, and home game against Sunderland does feel like a good fixture.
We
like a really good one.
We scored 5 against Atletico Madrid, so does that make us a good attacking?
Richarlison, amazing. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like we can spin whatever narrative we want at this time of the season, like where it is. But
did you see him in training? He scored loads of goals.
They never miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gordon v Palmer. It's fascinating, really, as a thing. It's hard to think that you would be having that conversation. But obviously, Reece James is out, which again, for people that own Enzo, you probably get back some set pieces. Similar on Cole Palmer, you're going to get back some set pieces. Direct free kicks, you probably get Palmer now. With Reece James out, you've got Pens. As much before the Salah injury, I actually had the money in the bank that I could go Semenyo to Palmer.
Yeah.
So I was in between this week. I've got to bring a defender in, and I was in between. Do I bring in Palmer this week or do I bring in Richarlison? So there's a little bit me that will moan that I feel unlucky, but now I'm like,
I can get Richarlison and Calvin Bassey.
Now I can have Richarlison and Calvin Bassey.
That's the answer. We've solved that one. Perfect. Get both.
So, yeah. I'm pretty sure for me is Palmer and Richarlison locked in. The defender,
anybody,
because there's Calvin Bassey.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Thiaw versus Hall?
I think I prefer Thiaw, but I'm trying to play through. So, I don't expect Hall to not. I think the likeliest outcome is they both play every game left, probably. But if Hall didn't start one, I'd be like, okay, he's played Livramento left back, or an easier game. I don't think he's not going to start this weekend. Whereas Thiaw, I think, has just played so many games and played. He didn't have a great game against Barcelona, and he Fabian Schär might be back after the break, who wasn't really taking any of Thiaw's minutes before, so I don't really expect him to. But I always feel like it's worth checking if there's an option there. Like Chow's nailed because there's no right centre back. Like when he's not played Chow, he's played Sven Botman as a left-footed right centre back, and he's not. It's like, well, he doesn't want to do that. Clearly, he plays Chow whenever he can.
There was some noise last night that Chow was particularly poor, and that they should be playing Botman and Burn on the weekend. There was some noise.
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy that, but
no.
We'll
like
see.
You say,
because I think
it's really rare, isn't it, to see someone play two left-footed centre backs? Like it just doesn't happen. You see it all the time, two rights, but you rarely see two lefts.
Who was there was another game a while ago where Chow had a bit of a stinker. He might even come off at half time. Was it a Champions League?
Yeah, there was a game where he came off at half time.
But I think he just played straight after that again and was good.
People were worried
fine,
about it and just immediately played.
So I've not really got any worries on either of them. So I think it's kind of a DEFCON versus attacking threat preference in some ways.
I would say the thing that, because my immediate view was Hall, but one of the things is that if you're thinking about Newcastle guys, then you should have a view about Gameweek 33 as well. So it's one of those where you're picking now, but you're also thinking, well, if things go different ways, then I'm not wild card in, or I haven't got my wild card, and therefore I'm thinking about the double. And just whenever you've got a double, I'll always back a centre back. I'll always back that Chow will play more minutes than Hall in a double game week.
Yeah, the double game week would be Bournemouth at home and Arsenal away. So Hall's going to play Arsenal. We need him there. Can he miss Bournemouth?
Well, he could, but they could also. I mean, they couldn't do Burn left back against Saka, could they? Or Madueke?
I did it once, but what they really did is they played Burn left back and they played Joe Linton as the other left back who stood on Bukayo Saka and followed him forever. And we're like, let's play with two midfielders. Joe Linton, you follow him.
He did.
Whoever's
it was
free on the left.
It was like a half space left back, wasn't it? He was just inside.
Very weird. So I don't think he'll do that. I think Hall's been really good defensively, so I think they will want him there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you trust him against Lamine Yamal, then you probably trust him against Bukayo Saka.
And it went really well against Lamine Yamal. Well, I suppose he played well, but yeah.
They were calling him the anti-Yamal.
Lots of games. So I think either. I don't think if anyone has a preference for one or the other, I wouldn't say that they're wrong for doing that. I don't think there's a clear and obvious one. If someone was saying I want Sven Botman, I might be telling them, hang on. But
you're just thinking about where they spike the goal, though, aren't you? That's what you're really thinking. And I do think Hall's, more likely to get an assist, but you do think that Chow's more likely to just not head one in.
His attacking threat's quite good. I think
he's always in and amongst it.
He does occasionally take some set pieces, Hall, some corners.
And good ones.
So if Livermore is playing over Trippier and Bruno's not back and Tonali went out with a knock as well and Lewis Miley takes some corners sometimes as well, he's still out. So Hall might end up with taking corners at the weekend or some of them.
Certainly the ink swingers, the ones on the right.
So he doesn't take loads. He's not like the set piece guy, but he does inherit a share sometimes. So that could boost him a little bit. But Chow's, he's got a good attacking threat as well. It's not amazing, but I think Newcastle brought a new set piece coach in this year, as did many teams. But they have scored a few, so I think Chow. Well, he got a double in one game, didn't he?
I think there's argument to go Chow over another Fulham guy. I do think there is argument on that because of the fixtures the other side of it. Potentially, the 32 fixtures now better, whereas Fulham have got away to Liverpool. Then there's no double in 33 Fulham, but there is probably most likely for Newcastle. That all adds up. If you've got to go more bargain basement, if you've got to go even cheaper.
Let me look at my projections.
Well, I from our side of it, I like Danso. I think he gets the DEFCON every single time. But
is that just for this week? Is this?
It's just for this week, play. It's just for this week. I'm
going to throw the Leeds boys in. I know Thiago's quite good. But, Pascal Strauch's pretty good for DEFCON. He can take pens. He's taken penalties before.
Obviously, he scored and everyone disallowed, but
but we've now had Nemecha missed a penalty, give Pence to DCL, and
That could be
DCL missed a
Stroud.
penalty. Stroud could take the next one. I don't know if I necessarily back him to, but he's taken them before.
He has taken him before.
So he's probably an outside shout. He's also quite good at defcons and decent attacking threat anyway. You've got a pretty. I know it was a bit weird with Bogle got dropped. Or what got dropped, didn't play. Obviously, this game week, then the back five's pretty nailed. It's going to be Justin and Bogle and Stroud, Viol and Joe Rodon.
Because Goodmanson's not there.
Because Goodmanson's suspended for his horrendous tackle. So the back five's nailed this week, but after that, I think it was looking like it was Bogle and Goodmanson, and Justin was even playing some centre back minutes. So if you are thinking about longer term, but yeah, they pop up quite nicely on here. If you can call Maatsen versus Digne, then
It's
that's
an option.
You just throw some other names in there. But
Yeah,
I think
cheapos.
I quite like the Leeds guys after
Yeah.
after Anderson
I don't dislike that.
and Tete.
JR Berg says in the chat, like, if money's not the option, if Salah is out, then maybe you get Frimpong and he might play right wing again.
Maybe, yeah. Bit more expensive. How much is Frimpong now? Is he still?
He must be like 5'8" or something now because he was like 6 million to start with.
Let's have a look. 5'7". Yeah. Who else is in here?
Don't think he's
Porro?
first choice anymore, though.
Pedro Porro.
I mean, Porro's definitely going to play. I mean, the only thing I would say about the downside
do you think
thing
he's
is-
definitely going to play?
Oh,
Yeah,
hello.
I do. Yeah, I do. I still think he's definitely going to play.
I don't think you can say he's definitely going to play. I think you can't go 100%. I don't think you can go 100% on Van der Ven. I don't think you can go 100% on Porro. I don't think you can go 100% because we have the options. So we have 3 fullbacks. I can go 95% on Pedro Porro. I can go 95%, but I couldn't go 100% on Pedro Porro.
And there's no bench this week.
He's been taken off. He's been subbed off the last 2 games and been furious about it. Like, he trusts Spence and Destiny might be enough to start. Like, we have 3 fullbacks now. We don't know. And even if he does start, one of those 2 fullbacks will come off early.
That's not necessarily a bad thing for us, though, right? Surely that's
You want it
As long as it's post
There's
60.
not enough, is there? Like, so if a defender comes off early, he's probably 2 or 6, and he's a 27% chance of being the 6. So
we had this discussion in the analytics server today about if you assume a defender has played 60 minutes, do you want them subbed off early or not? And it really depends on whether they're DEFCON guys or not.
And if they're not DEFCON guys,
you want them off.
You want them off, do you? Like Calafiori.
So there are very few defenders whose attacking threat is good enough. So once you've played 60 minutes, if you're on a clean sheet, every minute you play, your clean sheet chance is decreasing because you might concede a goal. So to counteract that, you need to be potentially scoring or assisting in that time. So imagine let's ignore DEFCONs. That's out of it. So you need to be getting more from 20, 30 minutes of assist threat or attacking threat than the decrease in clean sheet chance. And the only guys who really were good at that were like Trent and maybe Joao Cancelo in previous times and things like that. Gabriel, probably with his, goal threat. Or Timber or someone like that. So the only way you want them to try and play the full 90 is because like 80 to 90 minutes makes a huge difference for DEFCON, because that last 10 minutes is like where you get the 9th or 10th one, because it drops off non-linearly. Like the 5th DEFCON's not very important, but the 10th one's very important, and the 11th one doesn't matter at all, and apart from the fact it might change. So actually, Porro, the issue is that you have to assume that they're going to play 60, whereas like we see subs at like 58, 59 minutes. So that's the issue. So actually, the clean sheet chance goes up by playing specifically 60 to 70 minutes. By enough.
What you will want to hear on Porro is in the press conference, because Spence he took Porro off to bring Destiny on, and he put Spence right wing back. Now, bear in mind that he'd already taken Porro off early on the weekend. So it wasn't a minutes situation, like it wasn't a resting situation. It was a tactical situation, hence why Porro threw toys around, both for the Liverpool one and both for this one. Like I say, is you certainly couldn't put Porro's minutes if you were putting them in a solver any more than about 75 minutes. Like that would be the maximum you can put him in I would suggest.
If you were
And then you're
picking a
like,
Spurs
why
defender,
would you? But it's a lot of money. Why would you bother doing that?
well,
Like
maybe people are selling Salah to Palmer and they've got some free cash.
Like it's I don't think like Romero versus Porro is like so not close, like not even a little bit close.
I was going to say, if you're
it's like
picking
picking
a Spurs
Solanke over
defender,
Richarlison. Do you know what
if you're
I mean?
picking a
Like
Spurs defender, one for this week, but two for, like, imagine you're trying to play free at 33, wildcard 35. Which Spurs defender would you pick?
Oh, it's Romero. It's not even
Romero. Yeah,
not even close. Like they are thick as thieves. Him and Tudor. You know, people don't make enough of the fact that it's pretty obvious that Romero told Tudor to take Kinski off. It's pretty obvious that that's what happened. There's all the videos of doing that. He went straight over to Tudor, had a word with him, and then Tudor looks over and points at the thing. Now, the good part where Tudor's got him on side there is he's not outed Romero. He's not outed in Romero for that. And you watch, there's pictures. I retweeted it. No, I have. I've outed him. But
some fan you are. Come on.
But you see the pictures of him when he came off the last 5 minutes yesterday, and he's sitting alongside him like he's the assistant manager. Like they are tight. Like Tudor isn't an idiot. He knows the best way to try and get this is get Romero on side, and then he gets everybody else on side for me. But
do you agree, Adam? Who would you pick for Spurs?
I would agree. I would definitely agree with
Romero.
I don't know. I definitely would agree with Romero being the best out of the guys that we have. I think just as if we're going to have concerns over how injured someone's going to get or how many minutes they're going to play, like my concern over Romero is that he definitely will at some point do something stupid.
He'll get suspended again.
So he's. I mean, I don't think he's going to get sent off again because that's him done for the season. Like if that happens, literally he's done.
How many yellows is he on?
I don't know, but if he gets sent off again, it's 5 games. I think he's out for 5.
Bloody hell!
Because he's already and he's on 8.
He's on 8.
So he could be done. He could be done in 2 weeks' time as well. But
yeah, and then he missed 2 games as well.
He's definitely the guy. He's definitely the guy that if you're 2-0 down, bear in mind that obviously the clean sheet's already gone at that point. He's the guy that's going to, from the defenders, is going to be the guy that's going to push to get a goal, right?
Which he's done twice.
If you've seen that.
Which he's done twice.
Yes.
We've conceded twice. We've conceded twice this season, and he got double digits in both those games.
Yeah.
I saw his wonderful bicycle kick goal right in front of my stupid face at St.
He did. And then he did the Bruno G celebration.
I was furious.
This is the thing. There is only 2 outcomes for Romero on the weekend. It is sent off or 17 points. There's your
volatile pick. You talk about high ceilings and floors.
It's the most volatile pick.
Below 0.
It's nailed on.
Brilliant.
It's nailed on. Like it's only one way or the other.
Oh, I want it
like
now.
I say, I'm all in, so I've got no choice in the matter. I have to bring Romero in.
So you're getting Romero? Is that what you said? I don't remember reading that. Fair enough. Romero
Richarlison. Easy.
Deary me. Fair enough.
But I think if you've got any sense from this conversation, Malik Chow's
it's don't do that. Get Chow, Gordon, and Hall. Someone else. Yeah, just get another defender.
They've got a ton of home games and they're playing well, apparently. So,
been all right.
They play well sometimes.
They play well.
Just don't know when that is.
Sometimes maybe good.
Exactly. Sometimes maybe shit. So
it's better than us, which is mostly terrible, but occasionally maybe.
But you're playing Forest. A tired, leggy Forest.
I mean, look, the Spurs have conceded so many goals in the last 10 games. I wouldn't actually touch our defence at all. Like the Richarlison thing, I don't like it, but I can see it, and I can. Yeah, if you go in there, fine. But the defence,
I can tolerate it.
I do not get the defence whatsoever.
If you think there's a chance that you're not going to, that you might, for example, free hit in 33, and that I am still open on that table, then I love away. I love away at Sunderland in 32. I love home to Forest this week. I miss out on home Brighton because I'll be free hitting, and I get away Wolves, and then I wild card. See you later.
See you later.
Because we'll be
on the wild card. We'll be safe by then. Yeah, we've knocked Forest out.
We better be safe by then. Right, let's get on to teams. Let's see where we are.
Oh
where we're at.
yes.
I mean, I've done mine.
You have,
no,
here it is.
No, you haven't. I've got some notes.
Oh no, you're going to throw some different ones at me. Damn
well,
it.
no, I was checking it, and like I think wildcard 32 just looks good in basically every scenario. What I would say is like the ones where you don't wildcard 32, then having Salah in game week 32 over having Semenyo in game week 32 is quite worthwhile, given the fact that Gordon versus Palmer is not that different this week. So I think I would do Semenyo to Gordon before I did Salah to Palmer, because if you don't play a chip in 32, you want Salah. Like, he might be injured, but like he's way better than Semenyo that week. Semenyo might not even be playing now.
Yeah.
I think he probably will, but so I don't think Palmer's so much better than Gordon compared to the gap from Salah to Semenyo. So I think the rest of it makes sense. I think it was like, Guiu to a forward. I wouldn't pick Richarlison, but go for it. And then Richards or Munoz to you can go for Romero, but Thiaw or any, lots of defenders.
I probably can't
week.
afford it if I went Semenyo to. I'd have to look at the prices.
I forgot exactly what it was. I do. I think Mark Guiu went to Calvert-Lewin in my one, which I know you don't want to do, but.
But
I think I'd strongly look
at the Romero one that would do me in. To be fair,
I'd strongly look at Semenyo to Gordon over selling Salah. I think he might come out tomorrow and say he's fine, in which case you go, okay, well, obviously I'm not selling Salah because I want him this week. But I think there's enough of a chance that whenever you don't wildcard 32, you want Salah there. You don't want Semenyo. Semenyo you want for double game week 33 maybe, but if you're not doing it, you're free hitting in 33. So and then you'd want him in 34. Like if you play through and you've got Semenyo for 32 and 34, you've got him for Chelsea and a blank. It's not that, like, you're gonna have to sell him again for Gordon maybe. Whereas Salah actually has some use over Palmer. So, it's not, but I think in all likelihood, I think you wildcard 32 anyway. So like kind of just use your transfers, get your team out, do what you want. Probably is my advice based on my looking.
It's a good challenge, that, because if I went Semenyo to Gordon and then Liverpool beat City, then I've got a Newcastle guy in place. I've got triple Liverpool already in place.
Mm-hmm. Or even if they you've got triple Liverpool in place for their game against Fulham in 32 and their game against Palace in 34.
Good point.
And you can sell Gordon in 34 if you need to. And you can punt on someone in 34. You could get Matthijs Tel, whoever you want. I'm trying to sell it.
It's a good sell. It's a good sell. Is like you say, Newcastle. I was really conscious as we started this that Gordon and Newcastle have had a bump, and therefore I'm like, Gordon away at Palace now feels considerably better than Palmer home to City, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely you wildcard it anyway, but it's like
you get Mo.
If I can make my team as good this week and leave stuff open, that's better than you don't want to have be detrimental to your team this week in order to go, well, there's a 5% chance I don't wildcard. I'll make my team worse this week just in case. You go, well, if I can make it the same, just different.
Yeah.
I think that's worthwhile. But
I think Daniel Banks just made a point about you saying that obviously Newcastle get a bump because they're playing Palace in between their European games.
That's what I was talking about.
No, I know.
I mentioned it like 17 times.
Just let me finish. But obviously, then Dan's mentioned that Fulham game is in between PSG for Liverpool. So then that's. Thank you for letting me finish, by the way. So then that's obviously like a
I said that loads of times. No,
bullshit.
That's true. Whereas,
so if there's already a risk, and we've seen him come off with an injury at this point, and now he's a risk for a Premier League game. Like, where are they at the moment? They're fifth. They have got Chelsea and Brentford, I suppose, sort of chasing them down. They're going to be interested in the Champions League. qualification, but also like the Champions League is important.
Yeah,
And Salah's not nailed like he used to be.
No.
Okay,
we're on the presser. I think if it sounds like, oh, this could be icky. You are right though on the Semenyo thing. Is there that is a danger.
He's not really much use either.
No. And you could always Gordon's still a good pick the other side. So if I don't like Salah, then like you say, I might still have to sell Semenyo anyway at 32.
Yeah, for like Cherky or double
Rice.
defense or something. Rice. Well, yeah, you probably want triple city for a double if they have it. But yeah, I do think more often than not you wildcard 32. So actually, it's not like if you accidentally slightly dead end yourself into it, then it's not the end of the world. But I think there are ways to kind of leave stuff open just in case. But
Gordon versus Palmer, then my decision based on, and I can do either. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I think to me that decision is Semenyo versus Salah. Like it's the same moves, but that's what the decision is if I was looking at it. Because Gordon versus Palmer is there's much of a muchness for the next 2 or 3. I don't know if there's anything to do with like
as likely that both of them blank in 34 anyway. So that was one of the things on Palmer was if I brought him in, he was almost going to think nailed on that he had to be my move out.
Yeah. Whereas they're not linked, but they're both heavy favourites and probably comes forward.
Yeah.
Palmer's got the chance that Chelsea win and it stays in 34, even though we think it doesn't. But
it's true.
We're guessing. Whereas if Arsenal get through, it has to move because they can't put it in 34.
Yep.
But yeah, everything else looks good. I mean, Bruno, Ekitike, Thiago, captain.
Yeah, it's just
Wilson,
a shame.
Rodgers.
I was really hoping to carry some transfer through for this, but obviously Mo getting injured suddenly.
Yeah, probably got to use all 3 there. Which keeper are you playing?
If
the big question.
I'm playing for Bruggen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing for Bruggen.
There was no Mo, so yeah, fair enough.
It's a good point though. Dubravka's going to be like 70% owned.
He'll be because
he immediately takes 45% ownership.
Do you want to cover off the Burnley defense?
That's what people are going to do.
The big threat.
People with that, if this or maybe, especially there'll be people with a Bruggen, they'll play Dubravka because they're scared of it. Because they will do, though, won't they?
How did we get here? I love it.
They will be scared of Dubravka because he's going to be 70% owned. Is just off the case of like people that have Donnarumma or the Riot guys, and just people then again that are like, oh God, I need to cover that in mini leagues and all the rest of the stuff that the people will do this time of season.
I mean, neither of them are that good, are they? They're both just meh.
No,
they're fine. You play one of them, but
it
might be worth thinking about whether you want to do that or whether you want to go.
Yeah,
I guess if Salah is fit and playing this week, then you would have 2 Liverpool attackers and only 1 Fulham. Might be worth it as well.
One more question for mine, so I'm hogging here, but is if it's Mo Salah is touch and go, as it were, then I'll definitely sell Semenyo and not Salah. But in that situation, who do
I start him?
Do I start him?
Christ. Maybe. But then who for? Ekitike?
It's probably for Ekitike, isn't it? That seems insane.
Well, yeah.
Because it's not like you can go, oh, well, I won't bring one of those guys in, because you're like, well, then actually I just could easily end up with 10 men.
Yeah, you can't risk like Salah with no bench. But
I mean, you've just been talking
your bench, or
you've just been talking up like Leeds defenders. Like, is it just an ownership thing that you wouldn't take on Thiago? Because obviously he's going to be hugely owned.
Thiago's still good,
but I think
I
know he's still good, but Leeds at home are pretty good.
Is it Rodgers? Is it just Rodgers?
Just get rid
of not Rodgers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Thiago and Strauch can still both get points together.
Yeah.
It's not common, but like Thiago gets a goal and Strauch gets defcons. Like that's 6-4, 7-4. That still happens.
Yeah. You're all going to have to play it. Like Adam, you're talking about you're going to captain Harry Wilson, but you're also going to have to play Dubravka.
Yeah, that's just a inevitability.
Yeah, whatever.
Because with Dubravka, I guess it doesn't matter because, as you say, he's going to be so highly owned that like everyone's just going to feel that. That doesn't matter. If he gets 2 points, if he gets 1 point, whatever.
Again, exactly the reason though why I would definitely go for Bruggen is that you've got to look for that opportunity.
No, I get that completely.
Your big differential.
Yeah, it's more beneficial for me, especially if Mo is out for Bruggen to haul than it is for Virgil or Ekitike to score.
I think it would depend on what Slot says about
work it out
Mo.
tomorrow.
Like how likely is it based on the words he said that he starts? If he looks like he's not going to start and might sub on, he's the bench.
I think he has to be the bench.
If there's a chance, if it's like, if it looks semi-promising but they're not sure, I think I'd probably start him. But I'd probably need to be that confident. It'd need to be something positive tomorrow rather than let's see.
Yeah.
A final one. I was just had a quick squint at, and I don't know how much you use like Understat or where that data comes from specifically. Do you know who has the best defensive home record from an underlying data perspective?
You can say it's Brighton.
Have I just clicked something completely different? Because just a second ago I swore it was Bournemouth, but I don't know why.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's Bournemouth.
Bournemouth
have the best. So Bournemouth's XGA at home is 11.28. Arsenal's is 11.
We're getting done again.
Arsenal is 11.6.
Oh yeah, they played 15 games. Who've they? I guess there's still have they got some very tough home games coming up?
Man United, Leeds, and Palace, and City.
Fair enough, then.
It's significantly better than everyone else's. Also adds it's interesting, isn't it? For the
Burnley away, for context, 28.75, and they've overperformed away from home.
Yeah.
So yeah, Captain Bruno, if you want.
Yeah. Well, you get DEFCONs and a
just to know
bonus.
4 goals from Harry Wilson is going to do better than DEFCON and an assist from.
Yeah. That's
how the maths works.
I'd just counted.
Yeah. There's no gain in that Man United game because like let's say for example I didn't captain Bruno, then you're like, if you don't captain Bruno and you only own Bruno from tomorrow night's game, do not watch that game.
Don't watch it. Well,
because you've got 50% Bournemouth defense, you've got 30%. You've got 30% Boomo ownership, and you're going to have 60% Bruno ownership against you. There's no way of winning.
No, there isn't.
Unless Cunha to Sesko, some schools.
You can cheer that kind of stuff on.
But as soon as they all walk on the pitch, because they're bloody DEFCON and the rest of it, then you're already starting on a considerable. If you take a hit and then you only have Bruno from that, you're posting pictures of that percentage because you're like, everyone needs to see this.
Sorry, let's get the team. Let's get the teams done. Just because I would say hour and 30 now. We've got Friday deadline. So
that's fun. Is everyone still here?
There are a few people still here.
Lovely.
You got him.
You haven't read your team out. It's been on for screen for like 20 minutes, and you haven't read it out yet.
You could have called him out at the start.
Everyone knows it. So it's for Bruggen, Anderson. It's currently Munoz. Will be Romero, Virgil. One of Semenyo or Salah will become Palmer or Gordon. Bruno Cat, Rogers Wilson, Ekitike, Thiago, and the last man will be Richarlison coming in. Mark Guiu, yes, I'll have no bench whatsoever.
Have you had Mark Guiu since the start of the season? Has he been there the whole time? Fair enough.
4.1.
Whoa.
Do you know 4.1 he is now? It's unbelievable.
I think I bought him twice. I don't know how I'd managed that. Dubravka's the only guy I've had since the start.
It's a good point, actually.
4.1.
I didn't. I think I did buy him on first wildcard. Don't think I
Oh,
did start
maybe.
with him.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Stalwart.
my
Thank
team.
you. Yeah, lovely. Ah, yes. You want to out a free hit 33, right? The free hit 34, you said.
Yes.
Okay. Why not free hit 33?
I don't know.
How many double game week 33 guys have you got here?
How many double game week 33 guys?
Yeah.
I have got, or I will plan to have
No, right now.
right now.
Raya, Gabriel, Haaland, maybe Semenyo.
Maybe Semenyo.
That's it. Chalobah's out. Everyone else is single.
Pretty much.
So who plays in double game week? Well, Dubravka, double game week 33. Who plays in game week 34? Definitely. Virgil might.
Virgil
definitely not.
might not.
Alderete will. Anderson will. Wilson will. Tavernier will. Bruno will. Gibbs White will. Thiago will. Calvert-Lewin
might.
Yeah, Bournemouth Leeds. So you got way more blank game week 34 guys than you have double game week 33 guys.
That might be true, actually, yeah.
And you can sell Semenyo and Chalobah because they might not be useful anyway. So then you'd have Virgil and, Virgil or Haaland. You've got another one. One of them will play in 34. So you don't have a keeper, probably, is the issue. Although you might, if City play there, you got Dubravka against City. But I think, I would make a case for free at 33 as you're sort of locked in. You also get to free in a double. I don't know if people find that more fun or not, but I think you've actually got a lot of
doublers guaranteed, right? So
you've got a lot of guys who are sort of nailed players who have a guaranteed 34 fixture. I think the way that bench boost 33 is too good to pass up on is if Bournemouth Leeds moves in there, because you've got Tav and Calvert-Lewin. So if Leeds win and that game moves from 34 to 33, then I think you go, okay, that's fair enough. Because then you can use your transfers to build up the 33 guys, but you've gained 2. So what you can do as your Chalobah replacement this week, if you want one, is do Chalobah to a Leeds defender, Strouk, instead of Newcastle defender. Because in the event that you bench boost 33, free hit 34, you've bought an extra guy who's doubling. You've got another Leeds player.
Yeah.
And if not, you've got another guy who's playing in 34. And he's got a good game this week against Brentford. True. So I think that actually looks quite nice for your team. And then you build up to, a double. And you try and bench boost in 35 or 36, or potentially 32 if you want to play it. I think a lot of them are kind of like okay, because you've got nearly a full squad here.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not carrying a Mark Guiu or anything. So you could play 32 if it lands and it looks okay. I think 36 would be quite good because you could actually get a double for some of your players, or you can load up on Palace guys later or whatever. But if you bought Strouk and then basically rolled, you could get to 34, 35 with a few transfers to then build your bench boost and come out of it. I quite like that. I don't think 34 free at 34 is like silly. I think that's like, either's good. But I was testing it and I was a bit surprised. I was like, oh yeah, free at 33. And then I looked at why and I was like, you got a lot of nailed game week 34 guys.
Does that work even if? I guess that works even better actually if the Liverpool game goes into 33 rather than the City game.
Yeah, because then you've got Haaland in 34.
Yeah, it's true.
And you don't need to buy Salah. You can free him in for 33 if he's there. You can move Virgil on in 34 because he'll have had a good game in 32, but then don't need him for 33 because he's doubling. Yeah.
So you'd say something more like free hit 33, bench boost 36, just to give myself some time to.
Yeah, I think 35 and 32 both kind of scored okay. If you're like, oh, I want to pop it because I'm short transfers and I've got a good 15 and I don't back it to like land. If you got to 32 and went, this looks good. I don't think 36 is like that much better that you go, oh, like I'm missing out by not doing it. But I do think that actually makes sense for this team, potentially.
I will.
To challenge you on
I
free at
will.
34.
No, that's good.
You said earlier you were looking at -8.
No, I was just saying that. I was just saying that the fact that. So when I ran it through Solio, I was planning on rolling this week. Obviously, if Chalobah was fit, I'd have just rolled it, and that would have been fine. But with Chalobah out, I was like, well, let me have a look and see what I would like to do. And Solio immediately just went, take a -8. I was like, that doesn't feel good at all. So after it said that, I completely disregarded it, to be honest. So I just wasn't.
So you hadn't worked through at -8.
No, not fully.
What was the suggested one?
Chalobah, Gibbs, White, Thiago to Van Heck, Palmer, Welbeck.
And that's because you'd also locked in bench boost 33.
Yes. That's true.
That time.
Yeah. So it just, I think it wants to get stuff done now because it thinks it wants to save transfers for later. So rather than using up your 32 transfers, it's like, well, we'll do a hit now. And because I solved it across a few scenarios and put in the bench boost 33 if Bournemouth Leeds moves across, and otherwise free hit 33 and bench boost later. And Chalobah to Strauch was the top suggestion there. And then you get 11 out this week. You bench Raya, Haaland, Semenyo, and Gabriel. So you get to keep Semenyo in case he's actually fine. Because then if Liverpool win and City play Burnley in 34 and Semenyo's still good, you've got him for 34. He might come out of the team and you have to sell him in 32 or 34, but he's still okay. So you should keep Semenyo and you should sell Semenyo.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, though. But there is that double bet, isn't there? Is if City does stay in 34 and you've already been working towards not free hitting in 34, then this team's incredible for 34.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have an 11 already, basically.
Yeah.
But you'd be a keeper. I know, because you'd have Dubravka. You'd have a not very good keeper, but you've actually got like everyone you kind of want already. So Chalobah. I mean, Chalobah could be a few people, but I think you could be Porro, for example.
No.
He could be someone who plays 31, 32, 34. But I think the fact that Leeds might not play in 34 doesn't matter because you're kind of piling on that Bournemouth Leeds game and go, well, I've already got 2. So if it moves, my chip strategy changes. And if it stays, then it stays where it is. You do buy a Leeds defender against Thiago, but again, I don't think that's 1 week. Like he's good anyway. I think the Leeds defense, they've got really nice fixtures to end the season.
That's why I got Calvert-Lewin. That's why I've got Calvert-Lewin for that very reason. And Baker will tell it. Baker will know that the as soon as you said Strauch and I'm looking at Thiago in my team, I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, but it's 1 week.
But
and it's the blank. Like people are playing.
Everyone's people
are playing Wilson against Dubravka.
By captaining Wilson, you're already hedging because you're in a game like that Friday night game. There's no good outcome. If you captain Bruno, then you're not hedging on Friday night because you're like, well, I need Bruno to smash it.
You got Tav.
You see what I mean? You can't avoid hedging even if they're not on your players on Friday on this week. Like it is what it is.
Right. Okay. I think I'm just accepting that I'm going to lose points on Friday. I suppose.
But you want to win. So surely, if you want to win, you should just do Chalobah to James.
But I've already said the reason.
And then back James Hill to get it clean.
No, but obviously, as I say, the reason I wanted Wilson as captain is because I think Wilson is going to score more points than Bruno Fernandes, and that doesn't matter whether he's playing Friday night against Bournemouth. What, it doesn't really matter. It's just a points thing.
But what I'm saying is you're then implying I can't hedge on another decision when you actually have already just applied a decision that is actually you can't. Ultimately, do I think they'll get good points? Yes.
I think the hedging's good tiebreakers more than it is like a good full strategy. But you could go for Hill. Like you could go the other side of the Bournemouth Leeds game if you wanted a Bournemouth defender. But then, Bournemouth defenders is quite well owned. So actually, like the effective ownership is probably going to dominate the like in-game effects of playing as an attacker against your defender.
Yeah.
If you bought Hill, loads of people got Hill. But people don't have Pascal Strauch. Generally, I don't think. So yeah, I mean, I there's options. I think but I think I'd pick a Chalobah replacement with the mind that actually free at 33 looks quite good. But I mean, free at 34 also works. It's not like it's silly.
Cool.
No.
So
I liked it. That was my idea.
This week I've got, and I'll read it out properly, but I'll have Dubravka in goal. Chalobah will go to someone. I'll have Virgil, Alderete, and Anderson at the back. Wilson captain, Tav, Bruno, Gibbs White, and then Thiago and Calvert-Lewin. Have I done everybody there? Yeah, I think so.
No, you'll have Haaland starting and someone on the bench.
Obviously, I'm going to have Haaland, Semenyo, Gabriel, and Raya.
All right.
All going to start.
You said you'd read it out properly.
They're all going to start, mate.
They're all starting.
All of them are starting. That's just that is.
Oh, I see. Oh, no, yeah, it's in the right order already, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the right order already.
I'm following now. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Raya, Gabriel, Semenyo, Haaland all come off.
There will be 4 elements of wankery, potentially 5 if he decides to fuck about on captaincy.
5?
Maybe. I've never done that. I don't think I've done that on captaincy before.
I think you have. I've got a feeling you did it. I think you did it just before, just to get it so that you had 5 elements of wankery.
Dear.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't usually do it on captaincy, just in case. The rest of it's obviously
the rest. Captaincy. You've definitely done it on captaincy this season. You've definitely done it this season.
I was going to be blank yet, but yeah, you have a suspended player or something. I ended up with no captain 1 week, having not tried to do anything clever. I think I captained Haaland and vice captain Saka, and neither of them turned up at all. And I just didn't have a captain. I was like, brilliant.
If people are going to captain Bruno, should they bench wank their captaincy? Bearing in mind that it's first game of the game week.
I've had too many players get injured in the warm up this season to I had a pretty horror nightmare show in, I played the Telegraph
Saka
game.
Yeah.
No, it was Calafiori actually, the first one.
Oh yeah.
But in the Telegraph game, you buy the players kind of live. So when you make the transfer, they're in, and you get the lineup. So you just have to do it before kickoff. So I think I had Timber, and then I did Timber to Calafiori about past. I think 10 minutes later, Calafiori's out, isn't playing. So neither of them are playing. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll move Calafiori on to Cucurella, who was playing later on in the day in the 5:30 game. And Cucurella plays, but he gets injured during the game. And then it gets to Arsenal's midweek game, and Timber's starting. So I just moved Cucurella to Timber. So I did Timber to Calafiori to Cucurella to Timber. 3 transfers for 2 points for Cucurella starting. When if I'd waited 10, 15 minutes, I would have made no transfers. I would have just had Timber. And that was, So Bruno, I don't think he's going to injured in the warm-up, but
don't fuck about.
There's no bench. I wouldn't do it, but it might be quite funny. It depends. I mean, what was it? If you're a million, who cares? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Your words, not I'm not.
Yeah, no, I'll own those words.
So maybe the story of playing Haaland and vice captaining Bruno and Bruno doesn't turn up is sufficiently funny that it's worth the risk of it going wrong.
Are you saying that people do things to farm for content? Is that what you're saying sometimes?
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
1,000 likes.
1,000 likes and I'll do it. The 2 times I've done a really weird strategy thing, I did it the week I wasn't podcasting with Praz, and he's like, wow, why did you free hit? You didn't tell us you were going to free hit. And I was like, I didn't know I was going to free hit. And then I was ill, and I did Haaland to Salah at the last minute. And he's like, wow. So I was like, oh, yeah, I've messed up my content, but here's my team.
Sorry, boss.
Sorry, boss. Sorry, boss. Sorry.
No.
Johnny, you're back. What are you doing? I'm rolling. Yeah. Okay. Good. Right. Cool. I'm not rolling. I do need to buy a defender. I don't have enough defenders. I've got a full team. I've got Dubravka, Anderson, Virgil, and then a new defender, Gabriel Munoz-Lacroix. I've got Anderson again, another Anderson. Bruno, Szoboszlai, Iliman Ndiaye, Calvert-Lewin, Bowen, Thiago, and Raya on the bench, and Salah on the bench. So actually, I'll probably just bench Salah I think I don't need to. I mean, I don't have a wild. Like I've only got the wild card, and I need to use it in 34 probably. So, assuming he's back for 32, then there's no point in me. I don't need another attacker. I've already got. Some of them aren't brilliant. Like NDI against Chelsea's not inspiring, but he's fine. I'm not going to make a huge upgrade. Like, there's no point in me doing Salah to Palmer or anything. I've got 4 transfers, so I'll use 1. So I'll probably do Munoz out for Malik Chow because I need to look at 31, 32, 33. So that makes the most sense for me for good this week, pretty good next week. Likely to be a good guy for the rest of the season. Helps me with my likely bench boost 33. Even if I don't bench boost, he's probably still going to double and I can use him and just bench Anderson or whatever. So I kind of had that move penciled in for a few weeks now. Like it was a likely move anyway. But as soon as I did Haaland to Salah, I then had 8 attackers, so I didn't have to worry as much about that. So it was just the defense. So yeah, and I need a lot of transfers after the break because I don't have a free hit. So I need to build up the bench boost. So I can't really like change my strategy too much based on Liverpool or City winning, but my team does a lot better if Liverpool win. So I'm kind of betting on that. But that's kind of what I did when I swapped for Salah and kind of hoped it was like if it doesn't work, I can swap back to Haaland and it's it's all right. But ideally Liverpool, because then I can also wildcard in 34 into triple City against Burnley, who then have a probable double in 36. Whereas if they have a double in 36 and they're not playing in 34, I've got to stash them on the bench or buy them. So it makes the wildcard 34 a bit trickier. Because I'd probably want to stash some Arsenal there as well, or maybe some, Palace who play Liverpool in that week if they did, and then would have the double. So I can't like do much about it, but I'm very much hoping for Liverpool to progress. But everything else is kind of fine. I think if Arsenal lost and they weren't doubling in 33, then I might look at triple captain 33 and bench boost in 35, 36. But generally, I've got that kind of wildcard 34 pivot point. Got a bench boost and a triple captain to play around it. Hopefully, there's 2 doubles and I play in one of each, but don't have to. And then the team's good. Otherwise, Bruno cap. Most likely. Don't have Wilson to compare with. Don't have Gordon. Don't have Palmer. So like the captaincy is even easier. But I think it looks okay. It's like a kind of mediocre-ish team to put out for the week, but team's in good nick for 32 especially. I'll have triple Liverpool against Fulham. I've got Bruno against Leeds. Arsenal's back. Palace, Newcastle, etc.
Important part
too
is
much
that
to think
top
about.
left-hand corner, which is that you've got 4 transfers.
I've got 4 transfers.
You'll still have 4 transfers after 1 transfer this week.
Yeah.
Which means...
So, given that I'm probably just going to burn them all out and wildcard in 34, that means I'll have 5 transfers to use 32 and 33 to build a bench boost out. And actually, I think there aren't actually that many people in this team who would be bad on a bench boost if I had to... I think Fulham have got a tougher game. I can't remember who they're playing. They're away to Brentford. So Anderson away to Brentford as a defender is like... He's not the brilliant 15th pick. But actually, Calvert-Lewin's home to Wolves. So if he stays there, he's fine.
Lacroix home to West Ham, but that could be after the second leg. So he might be one that you look for a doubler.
Yeah, I think he probably would move on. Thiago would have Fulham at home. So that's fine if I didn't get any more attackers. So a lot of them actually kind of have an okay single, even if Ndiaye, I think, is the one I like definitely need to move on afterwards, but I'll have 4 or 5 transfers to do that. So I think we're all set. It's just pray for Liverpool win and cross my fingers and work out what I'm doing in every other format where I've got much more of a mess to sort out.
Yeah.
That's it. Any challenges? What have I done wrong? What have I missed?
There's absolutely no chance I'm going to try and challenge you on your team, mate.
I'm panicking.
No, I don't think so.
I'd like it's not brilliant, but there's not really much I can do about it. So it's fine. I'd have liked Salah to play.
I know you like the stack, as it were, if you get the opportunity with it. What about potentially dub to Ramsdale?
I think I would be too worried that he didn't play both of the double. I think he's the first choice keeper. Like, I think the likeliest thing is that he just keeps playing, but it's not like Pope couldn't come back in.
No.
And I think it just restricts me slightly too much this week. Because also, Dubravka could well double in 33 anyway.
He
So
could.
if I keep him, he's
Again,
not good this week.
Again, there's a Man City one though, isn't it? It's that bit
Sure,
of
but you
trying to
know,
work
double game
through
week for a goalkeeper is like enough. It's going to be like 5-6 projected points. It's
Forest
not what you
away
want, but
and Man City at home.
I'd get a doubling keeper without making a transfer if City won. So I could go Raya and Dubravka and not have to touch the keepers. So yeah, Ramsdale's better this week and
It's hard.
is more
It's too
likely
hard,
to double.
isn't it?
But
Jorgensen and Sanchez, you can't fuck about with Chelsea. For Bruggen's home to Liverpool, it's not worth it.
yeah, there's no one that's like
It's
good enough.
it's only really if you knew what the Newcastle goalkeeper situation is, and we just don't know.
Yeah, and I think if I also knew that like Burnley weren't going to double. So like let's say I had I don't know, Mads Hermansen or something, like someone from a lower, not great team this week who won't double in 33, and because I'm working on in 34, then I'll be like, oh, I can bring the move forward. Yep. Whereas there are many instances where I bench boost with Dubravka. So I'm not like picking a move from after the break and bringing it forwards. I'm actually just making a new move, which might pay off. But I think I need to be still a bit careful. I know I've got 4 transfers, but I do need to I'm going to need them. I think I did look at Dubravka and was like, oh, he's not good, is he? But I need to cover the ownership. That's what I need to do. I remember now.
Cover the ownership. Well, Darlow is probably my only other one as an option. Obviously, home to Brentford, and then that double potentially is Wolves at home and Bournemouth away.
Yeah. I suppose it's like fairly unlikely, I think. They're 50-50.
It's just not enough, is there? That's what I'm trying to work through.
There's no one really like
enough, and
there's no like
it's
good
almost
team.
there, but it's
Chelsea might have been the one because we know Sanchez will play this week. Because I think he said Jorgensen's out this week, but
minor operation, a few weeks.
Who knows for after that? Like I wouldn't.
Nah.
So long until the next game.
The best goalkeeper is Dubravka.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's no really way to like double up on anything, or I suppose I could do like Munoz and Lacroix both to Newcastle defenders, but then what to bench and DI? Like why? That's not much of a gain, is it?
Is there a world that if tomorrow's slot says that Salah's out for the rest of the season, for example, or like a 6-7 week thing, is there a world where Szoboszlai suddenly becomes a better option than Gordon tomorrow?
Yeah, probably. Or comparable, at least. I think he's still got the chance of, playing at right back where he's fine, but not as exciting. You could look at Szoboszlai. I think Liverpool are a good one to bet on, but I guess their double game week 33 likelihood is lower. Although, actually, no, because you want.
Because effectively, what I was thinking about when I was thinking about mine once of that, I was just saw Szoboszlai thinking that was if I sold Palmer, then it's likely then that Szoboszlai. If I sold Salah to say Palmer, then that opens the door for Szoboszlai as a third Liverpool, which it feels like a better pick at the moment than Salah. But I just wondering whether
I was trying to work out who your third Liverpool was. I forgot you had Ekitike.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm happy with Szoboszlai, but I don't think he's like.
I mean, he'll be in a lot of teams. If Liverpool double and Salah's out on pens and they get a double, like Szoboszlai's going to be in all the teams.
Yeah, I bought him last season, but just so I can brag about how early I was, early adopter.
Amazing.
Bought him last season. Bought him in game week 10 or something. Got a suspension. Got everything. Yeah. Missed his goal. Free hit his goals out. His biggest score was in game week 23 when I free hit him out. I was like, oh, it's brilliant. But yes, so be it. So yeah, I think that looks all right. And then it's just the running, and it's just play the doubles, play the fixtures. Wildcard 34 might be a bit interesting. I'll have to do something a bit fiddly and tricky with that, but
yeah.
This week,
there's not many looking at
straightforward.
wildcard 34, is there?
No, I don't think anyone. Well, really, like
But
if you've got the option to not do it, I think you won't.
I do think free hit 33 has the potential to be more and more popular as we get through this, depending on how the results
go. I think some people might end up doing bench boost 33, free hit 34, wildcard 35.
Yeah.
So like, if I had a free hit but was playing the same way, like you'd squeeze the free hit in 34, then push the wildcard back a week. Like that's my strategy with a free hit in it. I think people might end up, if they get to 32 and they're like, oh, my team looks lovely and I've landed on loads of doublers, like I don't need the wildcard now. I can bench boost next week without it, and then I've got a free hit and a wildcard for 34 to the end. You're probably not going to wildcard 34, free hit 37 or 36, are you? You're going to free hit her then. I don't know. Maybe because also then you get the info, you get to see who's won the FA Cup semis. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully everyone plays their free hit and I play my wild card and pick their team free hit wild card into there. Was it Magnus Carlsen who did it one year? I think he wild carded in like a blank that had 4 fixtures in it, and everyone free hit, and he wild carded into like triple Brighton defense, and was like, "What the hell's he doing?" But did really well because he's a maverick like that. So I don't think I'll do that, but we'll see.
We have
Exciting.
one question. We have one question from Snake Asina in the chat. Has said aim 35 wildcard free hit 33. Let me read that again. Aim for a wildcard 35 free hit 33. Would you do Rice to Gordon or would you do Haaland to Bowen?
If you free hit 33 wildcard 35, Rice to Gordon doesn't really. You get this week, but then you're probably going to miss out on 34. You're going to sell Gordon again. Whereas Bowen's more likely to stay in 34. And Haaland's more likely to move out at 34.
Yeah.
And Haaland plays Chelsea. So if you free hit 33, wildcard 35, Haaland has blank, Chelsea, probably blank. Whereas Bowen would have Villa, Wolves, Everton. Whereas if you're going from Rice to Gordon, you're going blank, Bournemouth, blank, to Sunderland, Palace, blank. I think Haaland probably.
Yeah.
If you're locked into that strategy, I haven't really thought through. Like, depends on the rest of your team, but yeah, I don't think Gordon over Rice is only better this week. You've got pretty much the same in 32, and then you've got. I mean, they're going to blank or play together. And if Gordon's playing away at Arsenal, that's much worse than Rice playing at home to Newcastle in 34. Were it to stay there, if Southampton won in the cup. Don't know. Agree?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Just flat agree. Cool.
Lovely. That was fun.
I think we're done.
Good luck, Spurs.
That was
big games this weekend for our boys.
I mean it's weird because obviously I've got Gibbs White, so it's not weird at all. I just want Spurs to win, but it's just I don't want to review the game week and have Gibbs White scoring a load of points, to be honest, because that's going to make me feel crap.
Right.
It won't. So you're fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll miss a pen.
Perfect. That's exactly.
Kinski will save it.
Kinski will. We'll see.
We'll
see.
Anderson will get 42 DEFCONs because they'll be camped in their box the whole game.
Him and Archie Gray just battling.
Sounds good to me.
Should be a good match. Yeah, I'm glad there's some, like, from a football perspective, like we talked about, the sort of fixtures are a bit like flatter and the whatever. Like we've got some quite good games. Like at least we've got Tottenham Forest and we've got Newcastle Sunderland and we've got, some juicy
Well,
matches.
even the fact that West Ham play at the same time as Forest, but it's like a three-way match.
Yeah.
That, do you know what I mean? Because West Ham's also playing at 2:15.
Yeah. Should be a good weekend.
We're gonna get live updates of the table in the corner of the pitch, isn't it?
Table. I was chatting. I did a Forest pod earlier this afternoon, which isn't out yet, but we were talking about that as far as it was like that table update is just going to be continuously in the bottom left-hand corner.
Proper sicko
Hate
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can just get 2 goals up in like the first half, and then it just leaves Tottenham above everybody for the entirety of the 90. That'd be nice.
That's boring.
It's just
don't care. Don't
No,
care.
no.
If that's
No, I know you don't, but
it's just big. It's really fucking big.
Right.
who knew?
We got to get out of here. Jonny, thank you for joining us. This was
thank you.
This was
Yeah,
fantastic.
thank you for having me
really
back.
enjoyed it.
I'll be back
Really
soon.
enjoyed it.
Where are we?
Shout out to everyone that's watched in the chat. If you're watching back, it will be, well, you won't reach here without knowing already that it is time stamped. So you will be able to jump back.
I've got to try and get through that in a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jump back to your favourite bits. Yeah, always a pleasure, Jonny. Good luck for this game week.
You too, boys.
Everybody else. Oh, the final thing I was going to say is I did ask a poll in chat. Who is the better pick this week, Richarlison or Bassey? Richarlison was 65% of the 100.
Go on, Richy.
I mean, like
relegation, Richy.
36% for Bassey is a lot higher than I thought it was going to be.
A lot of Calvin Bassey fans tonight.
Who did a poll earlier? Someone did a poll and said, this week, are you taking a hit, -4, -8, -12?
It's going to be Harry, Raptor, or Focal.
I think it was Harry or Raptor. Someone did it.
I thought Az asked, like, what's the most you'd take a hit to avoid free hitting?
Az did.
I
immediately tick -12, right? Immediately, because I want everyone to take a -12, right?
Yeah.
So I immediately go on and tick -12. By the time I tick -12, 20% of the voters had ticked -12.
They're not taking -12s, are they? Yeah.
They're not. They're
Those
also
polls
not,
are funny.
Any poll,
you're like, this isn't genuine data, is it? But
it's not. It's not genuine data.
I know his tweet was about the engagement. And
That's
he said, like,
more or less engaged.
Yeah, the one before. He's like, I'm very unengaged. Are you very unengaged?
Also not engaged? Yeah.
And then half the answers were, yes, I'm unengaged. And I was like, oh, okay. But,
it's like a performance. You get performance scales at work, which like you get 4 options, and the third one is like
good. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
And nobody wants to be that side of the center line, right? Yeah. Everyone else wants to be above it. But
yeah. We're going to be quite disengaged after this weekend. So we've got 3 weeks. Yeah. I know the FA Cup and Champions League stuff, but no Premier League games for 3 weeks after this.
Yeah.
Fun.
We should get on the golf course, Baker. We should be playing some golf.
Can't wait to get back on the golf course.
Right. Good luck for Game Week 31, guys. We will catch you later.
See you later.